Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. I have been putting out videos roughly once a week. I said I would do them on Friday, but really I just kind of put them out when I can get them done because I get really excited as soon as I finish a video and I want to put it up straight away. But from now on, I do want to actually try to get out 2 videos a week. I want to be better about planning ahead and filming ahead of time and then putting them out when I say I will. So right now the plan is to try to put them out on Wednesdays and Sundays. We will see if that happens. I'm relatively new to YouTube and this is really just a hobby for me. One of the nice things about kind of being a really small fish on the internet is like no one's accusing me of sponsored content. No one is jumping down my throat about, oh, pressuring anyone to buy anything or, people not feeling too great about those decisions. Because the truth is, if I make a video about, let's say, something I love, right? Let's say I just finished filming a video about my Manola Blonde collection. If you write in the comments, wow, thank you for putting this together. I now know that these shoes are not right for me. Oh, hello, Sherpa. Hi. Hello. Anyway, if you tell me in the comments, thank you for making this video, now I know that I should not buy these. I am just as happy as if you tell me, wow, that's great, I definitely want to buy these, because I have no horse in the race. I just want to help people. So I have been thinking a lot about why I make these purchases. It's a really popular thing right now to, at the end of the year, beginning of a new one, to cover your luxury regrets, your best and worst buys. I have had that on my mind quite a bit, just like every other content creator on here. Can I say that now? I don't know. But are you distracting the people? Hi. Anyway, everybody, this is Sherpa. I don't know if I've introduced her yet. She's difficult. No, you're very cute. Anyway, she's distracting me. But so I've been watching a lot of these videos and thinking a lot about them for myself because I don't want to be wasteful. I don't want to waste my money. I just recently did a video all about my new Chanel 19. I did not expect to buy that bag, and I opened with why I didn't buy the Lady Dior, because I expected to buy the Lady Dior. I spent a solid 2 years planning to buy the Lady Dior, trying it on, watching every video under the sun, just looking at endless pages of Instagram photos. So today I decided to make a video all about trying to avoid luxury regrets, just avoid wasteful purchases in general, and the things that I consider before deciding to buy something. Hi, what are you doing? So when I'm considering a purchase, the first thing I try to take note of is just how it makes me feel, quite frankly. Like, I know when I love something. And I think if I have to spend hours convincing myself that it's for me, then it's clearly not right. But I catch myself doing that because we are all susceptible to influencer marketing. They do it because it works. I'm not criticizing anyone for doing it because I would do paid content about a brand that I was really passionate about too. But I think us just as individuals, we need to be responsible for ourselves and realizing that those things affect us. If you see something over and over again, it's going to influence how you see it. So I think just listen to your gut the moment you put it on. I mean, I certainly know if I like something, and my husband pointed out to me the other day when I was showing him the Chanel 19 that my favorite purchases have always been kind of spontaneous, definitely unexpected. The Bulgari bag, the Certainty Forever one was definitely a good buy, and I just ignored all the influencer campaigns about it. Unfortunately, I think a lot of other people did too. I loved it the moment I put it on and I bought it that day. My newest Dior bag, the Chanel 19, all these things, I felt it in my gut that I loved them and I decided to spend the money. But there have been other things like the Lady Dior that I have spent so much time looking into and telling myself it's going to be great for me. And at the end of the day, if I have to think that hard about it, it's probably not. The next thing I think about is, do I find myself longing for this thing when I'm getting ready? Now, okay, not all of my buys are incredibly practical, but I love them, and that's all that matters. This is my white Chanel Classic Flap. I had never bought a Chanel bag. Probably seems crazy to buy a white one if that's the case, but it's the one I loved. I knew it the moment I put it on, but it was the most money I had ever spent on a handbag. So I slept on it, I waited a full week, and during that week, as I was getting ready, I would think, I could totally wear that bag with this. Oh, I would absolutely wear this bag with this. In fact, when I bought this dress, I was thinking this would be amazing because it's a blue silk, it's not gonna color transfer, and it's just a really bright white, so it'll look beautiful with this bag. I think that if you are trying on an item and immediately you're thinking about all the things you would have to buy to make it work within your wardrobe, it is not a good buy. Unless those are things that you've wanted to buy anyway, then again, you should probably ask yourself, like, why haven't you? If it's just simply been a money and time thing, that's understandable. You know, it takes time to buy these things, at least for someone like me. But, you know, I don't think I would have bought the white classic flap if I wasn't already really into floral silk dresses and things that I knew I could wear with it without having to worry about color transfer. So yeah, so I waited a full week before buying this bag, and I thought about it every single day. I went to sleep thinking about how badly I wanted it, but I just had never spent that much money on a bag, and you do feel that like Chanel sickness the first few times. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Like, even if you have the money sitting there and you have a nest egg, it can be a lot to stomach, and maybe it's not a good thing that we're stomaching it. Maybe that's like our gut trying to tell us it's a terrible idea. But I knew that I was always going to want one of these handbags, and I could go on and on about why I love Chanel, but it's just because they changed our lives and the way we do things. You know, I wanted something different, and honestly, I tried on the black classic flap and I was underwhelmed. Maybe that's a blasphemous thing to say, but it just wasn't really doing anything for me, whereas the white was so pretty and so different. They also have an incredible resale value. I've mentioned before, I do not buy things to resell them, and I can't imagine selling this bag. Selling seems like a huge pain in the tuchus, so I hope to never have to do it. But perhaps that is something to think about when you're considering an item. I don't know, but then again, if you go in trying to already thinking like, what if I have to resell this? Like, maybe you just don't really need it. So I think it's really important to think about how that individual piece is going to fit into my collection. Do I need to buy things? Do I already have things that it works with? Also, is this going to be a special occasion piece? Is it going to be an everyday piece? Because I think sometimes I know that I can build it up in my head of, I'm gonna wear this all the time, and then I don't. And that's when I'm disappointed. This, however, you know, I knew I was not going to be wearing this every single day. I do switch my bag out every single day because I have very naughty cats and they will chew on things, they will scratch things, they get their fur everywhere. So I have to put my bags away every single night anyway. I did learn that the hard way. My Mark Cross bag has little, teeth marks in it. There was no way that I was going to let that happen to this bag. So I just think that if you're realistic from the beginning about whether or not you're going to use it frequently, you're a lot more content with whatever, with how it ends up happening. I don't use this all that often, but I knew that going in, so I'm okay with it. I've said this before, but I don't want a 50-60 bag collection. I don't think it's right for me. I think it would make me really stressed. I think it would make me feel disconnected. And I would much rather have unique, interesting pieces that really speak to me, that are more special, maybe even a little bit more high maintenance, than just accumulate a lot of bags. So yeah, some of my bags are not incredibly practical, but it's just different if you know that going in. I always think, am I willing to take care of this the way it needs to get taken care of? Is it a material that I want to deal with? Do I currently need something that can be worn in the rain? So just thinking about how this item works for me is pretty important. When looking at an item, the next thing I think about is how will it age? Now, this really depends on the color, the leather, the structure, everything that goes into this bag. Are the certain pieces going to break down? Are the straps going to rub on the sides eventually? Continuing to use the white classic flap. You know, I know that this will probably, that doesn't make any sense. I suspect, let's try to be as correct as possible. I suspect that this will yellow eventually. I can slow that down by keeping it in its dust bag and keeping it out of the sun, but it will probably happen. Nah, I can only postpone that. They will paint it when that eventually happens. I can bring this into Chanel, hopefully with simple cleanings. That can be delayed because dyeing it will change the texture, but they will spa the bag and fix it up for me. But if I have a lot of delicate bags, you know, when I'm looking at something, usually I think, okay, can this get caught in the rain? How is it going to age? Is it going to wrinkle here? And the more bags you have, obviously, the more you learn about the shape. I know that with, for example, like the Chanel Boy, a lot of people have talked about how the medium will start to bend in the middle. All those things, obviously that's where reviews can come in handy, and it's just about finding that right balance. You know, I need to only look at reviews so much, and then frankly I need to step away and not think about those reviews so that my gut feeling is kind of in tune with what I really want when I first try it on. Now, I've been quite lucky to be able to travel all around the world. I've been doing that since I was 17, and it's because it's something I prioritized. I'm almost 30 now, and I did not buy a single luxury handbag until I had done all that traveling. It wasn't important. It was so far from on my mind. I didn't even consider it. And I still have those moments where when I buy a handbag, I hold it and I think this is a trip to Europe. This is a new car. It literally is. And I think it's so easy to get swept up in these videos, and you see people traveling around the world and they have all the stuff and they seem to have everything. People like you and me probably have to prioritize these things, and they have to make choices. It's a little bit give and take. So, you know, I wouldn't be considering these things if I hadn't done all that traveling already, and obviously with 2020 we didn't travel at all. So I made a couple extra dozen purchases that, you know, I wouldn't have made otherwise. In fact, a lot of my Manolas from the Manila collection I just filmed, a lot of those were bought in 2020, and it was because we weren't traveling. Now, every time I pick up something, I do think, like, okay, is it worth it in that context? Would I rather have this or a trip to Paris? Because that's the reality. Lastly, the thing I think about is, am I going to be happy, like, with this item because it's a luxury item, or would I be just as happy with something a lot less expensive? I ran into that this year when I was looking at the Gucci loafers. Now, I am absolutely a loafer person. Share some of my favorites. These are the Sam Edelman loafers. I'm such a fuchsia lover. I love loafers. I have these in this bright fuchsia velvet and also a leopard. They're so comfortable. These have lasted me about 5 years. And yeah, while the bottoms are trash, the heel is actually in really good shape. It's had minimal wear along the heel. So this whole year I was thinking, maybe I should get the Gucci loafers. Everybody loves the Gucci loafers. They're so stylish, they're really well made. They're also like $900. These were less than $100, and they come in every color you could want. So I went in to try on the Gucci loafers, and that love was just not there. They looked weird on me. They look amazing on other people. And again, I just spent way too much time looking at photos, watching videos. I think all of that can be really helpful up to a time. And I went in and just, the spark, it wasn't there. I knew they weren't for me. I slept on it. I went back in. I tried them on again. I left. And I couldn't help but think about these Sam Edelman loafers, which is funny because, you know, they were the thing that made me think maybe I should upgrade. I clearly love these. I clearly love loafers as a style. But then I thought that through again and thinking, okay, I spent less than $100 on these loafers. and they've lasted, they're amazing, they're comfortable, I think they look good. Why am I not just getting these in black? Why spend Gucci money to have something that is apparently just as good, or in my mind, it brings me just as much satisfaction as something that is a lot less expensive. So that's exactly what I did. I am glad I listened to myself, and I'm finally learning. So I picked these up. I used accumulated store rewards. You can use those with a lot of department stores. Full price, I believe these are about $120, but they frequently go on sale. You can use store rewards towards them. Ultimately, I paid less than $100 for them, and they're perfect. I've worn them several times already. I have walked miles in these shoes, and they are very comfortable. So if you happen to love the Gucci loafers, that's great, but it just wasn't worth it for me, and I couldn't justify the price when I was perfectly happy with these. That's all I wanted to say for this video. Just some things that are kind of rolling around in my mind about what makes me want to buy something, because I really want to avoid a $1,000 mistake, a several $1,000 mistakes, all those things. As I said, that's a trip to Europe. That is a new car. That is a whole vacation and then some with my family. There are so many important things like wrapped up in that one purchase. Like, I don't want to make a mistake, but I would be lying if I said I didn't love these things and that I wasn't going to be buying more of them. At the beginning of every single year, I look at my budget. I look at my expendable income, you know, looking at all my typical monthly expenses, how much we spend on food, how much we spend on rent, all these things, and I think about how much I want to have saved by the end of the year, what are my savings goals, separating all that out, and then looking at that expendable income and truly thinking about how much I want to spend all of that on. Yeah, where do I want it to go? How much of that should go to bags? This year I am thinking I don't want to add any more than 24 pieces to my wardrobe, my collection, anything coming into this home. It needs to be less than 24, and I'm going to be making note of them in a little notebook, totaling up the expense, because I do want to be more serious about my savings moving forward. It's just not something that people talk about on luxury channels. I think they should, because all of our expenses are so different, and you hear these stories about luxury YouTubers going into debt, living off credit cards, you know, creating these confession videos about how they feel like they've been dishonest to their viewers because they weren't acknowledging the fact that they were living for years, month to month, and on credit cards, and here they were encouraging people to buy something. As I said before, I don't blame anyone for my decisions. I don't blame them for encouraging me to buy it, because at the end of the day, I need to know myself well enough. I need to be responsible for my own budget. I have a partner, you know, that I feel responsible for, that not like that, but he's my safety net and I'm his. I can't blow my safety net on shoes. You know, that's just how a partnership works in my mind. So I do want to speak openly about what I think about when it comes to making these really pricey purchases. They're not something to be done lightly, and luxury shopping can be absolutely a black hole that sucks you in. And I think before you buy something, you need to think about why you're doing it. Do you love this item? Is it going to work really well for you? Or are you just a little down and do you want to pick me up? Sometimes that's okay, and sometimes it's really not. I think we all experienced that with 2020. Anyway, on a cheerful note, I hope this helps. I hope it was interesting for you. Mostly it's just something that I wanted to talk about and look back on. So thank you so much if you watched this. I'd love to get to know you better. Please tell me what you think about spending and savings and looking at luxury purchases, how you think about it in the comments below. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.